She was like, I will not get married, Father. I'd rather just go grab people off the battlefield and you ruin their lives. And why would you need, and he's like, well, you're one of my 2 daughters. I really need you to do this. And he was very blatant about how she was his favorite. He was like, you're my favorite daughter and child. All 14 of your brothers
Is there any competition if you had a giantess daughter who would go on the battlefield and pick people up by their necks and sling them over their shoulder? What other child matters at that point? Hello, everybody, and welcome to 500 Open Tabs. I'm your non-bespectacled host, Kaveh Taherian.
And I guess your bespectacled host, Hannah Hillam. And we're going to keep on going. I messed up, but we're going to keep it. But yeah, I got my glasses
it's great.
on.
Yes, as I was saying before we started recording, I've known you for years, never seen you wear glasses. This whole time, apparently, you've been needing to wear glasses. And
yes.
Why don't you tell the fine folks at home what the shit happened?
So I lost them like 3 years ago. And I have needed them ever since. Well, only for night driving. That's the thing. And also
You've been
for
driving for 3 years without the glasses that you needed to?
No, I can. Hold on. I need to defend my honor. Yes, I have been driving without glasses, but I can see things. It's just that the lights look like they're exploding because I have
astigmatism.
Astigmatism, yes. So this fixes my astigmatism, and also I need them. So I can read signs now from far away instead of guessing.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, I found them. You want to know where I found them?
Where?
In my closet inside of their case.
Did you never look there or what?
I thought there were sunglasses in there for 3 years. I thought they were my broken red sunglasses. I was like, oh, I bet I put those in there. Decided that a couple of years ago. Sitting there in front of my face this whole time. I opened it up and I'm like, are you kidding? So I wasn't going to wear them on this episode, but then Sean was like, people might take you more seriously.
It's true.
Like, they're not going to.
Nerd chick. She's got the glasses on. Oh, cool.
I'm nerdy. Anyway, so now I can see, and it's all good. I have glasses.
You look great. I'm excited that you can see things because, that's important, particularly when you're driving at night.
I try not to drive at night.
Yeah,
I let
that's
Sean
true.
do it. But now I can, so.
Great.
Anyway.
So you just created a whole lot more work for yourself, but great. Awesome.
No more nighttime passenger princess for me. I am going to be a driver.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm very excited for the world.
Really sincere.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I actually wanted to tell you a quick story before we started today, which I thought you would enjoy. I don't know if I've told you the story before, but at the time of this recording, yesterday, Jane Goodall passed away.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you've heard about, which was deeply sad. She was a wonderful, beautiful spiritual force in the world for animal rights and for the goodness of humanity and of environmentalism and all kinds of great stuff. Very soft spoken, very, very wonderful. But did I ever tell you my Jane Goodall story?
No.
Okay. So
have you met her?
So I didn't meet her personally. But I thought I would share this story before we started because it's a pretty fun story and I thought people would enjoy it, especially because it seems like a lot of the people who listen to the podcast based on the Discord really like Jane Goodall.
Yeah. Who doesn't? That's the thing.
That's true.
She's such a light. Like, who could not like her?
So when I was in elementary school, back when I lived in Connecticut, I think I must have been in is either the 3rd or the 4th grade. I don't remember where it was, but it was somewhere around there in 3rd or 4th grade. This is back in like the early 90s. Somebody at our school, I don't know who it was, I don't know who knew who or who had some contact or connect, whatever, but somebody knew somebody. And in the town that we lived in, there was like 4 or 5 different elementary schools, but for whatever reason, our school was decided on to have Jane Goodall come speak.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she came to speak at her school, and it was like, and a thing I remember very clearly as a kid was that the teachers were clearly nervous. They were very nervous. And they kept being like,
on that.
Yeah. And they were like, Jane Goodall is going to come to, and of course, none of us had any idea who she. We're like, who's Jane Goodall? We're like 9. I'm like, I have no idea who Jane
I don't
Goodall
know what's
is.
happening.
But it was very like, they were like, Jane Goodall is coming, and it was the vibe was like, you idiots better not embarrass us and do some stupid shit. Like it was really crazy. It was, they weren't like mean about it, but it was like you could tell everybody was like flustered. They were like, oh, this is a huge deal. And even though we had no idea or context for who she was, because we could pick up on like the nervousness of the faculty and the teachers and all that, we were like, oh shit, like this person's really important. Even though they were just like, oh, she studied monkeys. We're like, cool, I guess. Like we like monkeys, but like that doesn't seem like it's that important of a job. But anyway, she was scheduled to come. The teachers were up our asses. And then the day of the assembly comes and she goes and we all like pile into the multipurpose room, and they're like, we're all on our best behavior. Everyone's kind of like holding our breath. And they were like, okay, whatever. I can't remember who it was, the principal or somebody is like, everybody please welcome Jane Goodall. And, if you've ever seen Jane Goodall speak, she's very like soft spoken. She's like this tiny little like English lady who's very like polite. And like, at this point, this is the 1990s. She's probably like, I think like almost in her 60s. So it's like this 60-year-old, like white haired, like quiet English woman just goes up to the mic, and she's in her very Jane Goodall voice. And she was like, hello. My name is Jane Goodall. It's very nice to meet you. If I was a chimpanzee, this is how I would greet you. And then she starts screaming like a chimp.
No way.
Full on. Just like, like fully doing it.
That blew your like child mind,
dude. And like, me of all people too, like at like 8, 9 years old, I was like, oh shit, like no wonder everyone thinks this lady's awesome. She's screaming like a monkey at this as like assembly. And it was like all this like tension and like stress that we all had like went away, and we were like, oh my god, this is the greatest human being that's ever existed.
What a gem of a person.
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was so funny. And I was thinking about it, and I think about this all the time. Like I always think about Jane Goodall when I have to speak, like in front of a crowd. And I remember thinking at that moment, and I didn't realize this until this week, like how seminal of a moment it was for me as a kid, because it taught me and obviously she went up there and she talked about like, like her work with the chimps and like studying them and all the circumstances of her going there. But I thought it was really cool because as an adult, I realized that like, she sort of showed us this way of like, you're going to speak to kids. You have to like, she could have gone in there and been, sorry, let me back up. She is this woman who has worldwide prestige, and she chose to go up there and not really like make an ass of herself. I don't think it's bad. I think she understood what she was doing, but it was like, it totally was this great leveler. Like if like other people could have gone and just been like, oh, well, I demand that no one talks. But she was like, no, straight up, like monkeys are awesome. And I'm going to scream like one because you guys get why that's cool. And it was like, it was this lesson of like how you talk to kids. Right. I think, I want to say it was, I think it was Jim Henson who said it. I mentioned this before, where he was like, kids don't remember what you teach them as much as you remember. They remember how you treat them. So like,
it's true.
Jane Goodall treated us like one of like she was on our level, and it was like a really important lesson for like how you address crowds and like how you talk to people and like how you can connect with kids. And so it stayed with me, and it was really beautiful. It was a really wonderful memory I have. So I was very like, it was a really sweet thing, and I feel so fortunate to have had that experience and to have seen her, and then to also not just be like, oh, like, well, here's this lady who came and like studied chimps and was boring. It was like, no, she understood how to talk to kids. And I got the sense that like she got great joy out of it. And watching social media the past couple of days, I guess that's like that was like a shtick that she had, where like she would go and she would speak to kids. It's a thing that she would do.
Just scream.
And I was like, so awesome. Like such a rad thing to do. It's like, it's such a small, like to her, it was probably the small gesture, but to me, it's like, this is 35 years later, and I'm still thinking about how cool it was and how much it made me want to be like a specific kind of an adult in terms of like how kids saw me. So anyway, I just wanted to tell that little tab of a story because people were asking about it, and it was such a cool memory that I feel so fortunate to have gotten to experience her. So rest in peace, rest in power, Jane Goodall, beautifully eloquent speaker. Amazing person, and really spoke up for wonderful things about humanity and like our potential. And sorry, I'm being all positive, but yes, that's what Jane would have wanted. She wouldn't have wanted us to make fun of ourselves. She would want us to be sincere.
Yeah, and we have lost her at a very crucial time in this planet's history, and she'll be missed.
She'll definitely be missed.
Can I tell you my Jane Goodall story?
Oh, you have one too?
It's not as cool. I didn't get to see her in person, but I was contacted by this British guy, Paul Goodenough, who runs this whole like nonprofit.
Sorry,
called...
did you say Paul Goodenough?
Yes, his last name is Goodenough.
That's a real last
Shout
name
out,
is
Paul.
Goodenough?
Yes.
Weird. I'm not even going to make fun of it because I just don't understand how, how does that happen? How do you have a last name that's good enough?
Probably Anglo-Saxon. I'm sure Old English somewhere down the line. Yeah, I know. I did the same thing. I was like, your name is Paul Goodenough? Anyway, shout out to Paul. I don't know if he's listening, but he contacted me thinking, I think he thought I was British. He did tell me he thought I was British to contribute to this book called Rewriting Extinction. And so it's all about like climate change, and he wanted a bunch of different artists and stuff like that to contribute. And so I did 2 comics for it. Through all of this thing comes in the mail. Finally, it's published. And the author is Jane Goodall.
Holy shit.
And I had no idea.
Whoa.
I was like, hold up. My name is on this book. And I had this like this moment of just like I wanted to puke. I was like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
And
From
then
excitement,
I went,
obviously, not bad.
excitement, where I was like, so that means she gets to look at it? Maybe she looked at it? But I remember like looking at it and being like, feeling like the presence of like, oh, this is way bigger than I thought.
My
it
name
was.
is attached to like somebody significant.
Right. And so the other day, Paul posted on Instagram of him and Jane together. And I guess they were like really good friends. I just had no idea. And I was like, yeah, I'll draw some comics. And then it like really, really caught me off guard. And I really, I treasure that.
Yeah. I'd like to think on some level, this is just totally bullshit for no reason. But I'm like, I feel like she would have liked this show. She would have liked Ken Allen and like, you know, all the animals where they shouldn't be. I feel like she would have understood the vibe. I feel like she would have had a good time. It would have been cool to like in some fake imaginary world been like, Jane Goodall, come tell us a tab story. Tell us about some funny thing that you had. Sure, she had some fun tabs open.
Well, she was also really funny, apparently.
Yeah.
Like she had a great sense of humor, like a irreverent sense of humor. Anyway, thanks for telling me the Jane Goodall story. I love that.
Thanks. Wait, so can we get that book where you're the Jane Goodall book?
It's called, it's been years. Rewriting Extinction. Yeah. It's,
okay.
Oh, it used to be, it's now called Rewriting Earth. But
Rewriting Earth.
The book is called Rewriting Extinction. You can get it on Amazon.
And here we go. I'm pointing at the screen. So this is going to drop an image of the cover. That's what it looks like.
And a bunch of other webcomic artists are in there.
That's cool. That sounds awesome. I'm going to get one.
Graphic
I
novelists.
Can't believe you never told me this. That's weird. My story I wouldn't have thought to have brought up, but you're like, hey, by the way, I drew a comic that Jane Goodall was the author of.
Well, you know how I am? Like when things get to be too big, I'm like, I have to remove myself from this. And so I kind of deleted myself in a weird way. Well,
it's going to be back and people should know, if not for you, then at least for Jane Goodall and her memory.
Yeah. Also, she wanted to give this, like, this is a charity. You buy this. Like, none of us got paid. It was all charity, and it goes toward...
wow, just like our podcast. It's a charity. Just
like our podcast. But, yeah, we've been talking about Jane Goodall for 15 minutes, but I don't care.
No, this is important. I wanted to give her a proper shout out at the beginning of it. Again, I think the audience of this show would definitely appreciate it, and they would be very excited because they're all dorks like us, and they would love somebody like... Those are the people to me that are like... Those people are like true... like rock star, like I hate that term because it's so overused. But you're like, oh no, Jane Goodall is like legit,
unstoppable. Like she was a force, and you don't get people like that very often that can broach all levels of society and learning and meet people where they are in every area. Yeah. But that's incredible. And I like to think it's because she knew how to communicate with animals in a way.
Animals, she understood how to communicate on that plane, sort of, or that level.
Yeah. Anyway, what a loss.
Lovely lady. R.I.P.
Salute to Jane.
Salute to Jane. And with that, we will move on to our show. I believe, unless there's anything you wanted to discuss before. I like how we immediately went into this being like, hey, Alyssa, we're going to try and have a shorter, we're going to be real good about making sure we don't go over and then go on for 15 minutes about Jane Goodall.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's another little tab that's going to be about Jane Goodall, a couple of Jane Goodall stories.
It's a mini tab. And it works because I don't have a tab for today.
Oh, you don't? Perfect.
I'm just kidding.
I'll just do mine and then we'll move on to it. But I think I'm up first this week. Is that right?
Yes, you are. This is part 2 of
Part 2. So welcome back, everybody. Part 2 of the Astor Place riot.
Nice.
Which, of course, means if you haven't done so yet, you're going to want to press pause and go back and listen to last week's episode, which is Astor Place Riot Part 1, as you could imagine.
Yes.
But just a quick recap. This story focuses on two world-renowned stage actors of the early 1800s. Right. The Englishman, William Macready, and the Americanman, Edwin Forrest, because Americanman is a term that I'm coming up with now.
Talk about England.
I
know, it's really old. All you do is talk about them.
Can I tell you something? Everybody whose name is, what was his name? Good Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my own story of Good Enough thought I was English because he also said that I looked inbred. But joke's on him. I'm Middle Eastern inbred, not white people inbred. There's a different one. Also the same.
We're all inbred in some form. Inbred.
Yeah.
We're keeping that in, Alyssa.
The Englishman, William Macready, and the Americanman, Edwin Forrest. Now,
the U.S.man, American.
The U.S.man, Americanman.
The Usman.
The Usman. Billy Bob Macready was a Nepo baby who came from prime English theater stock and was forced to go into the family business instead of going to law school. But lucky for him, he excelled and became a giant of English theater, popularizing such crucial practices we know today as rehearsal, period-specific costumes, and adherence to the original text. Edwin Forrest Gump, on the other hand, was born in America. His last name's not really Gump, it's a joke. And from a young age, he talked Shakespeare real good, but unfortunately for him, the English had a stranglehold on the American theater market, so Forrest had to go off and find himself, which happened to coincide with America finding herself as a country. And when Forrest emerged a few years later in the New York and Philly theater scene, he'd honed a new acting style that was antithetical to the English. It was bold, it was emotional, confident, and filled with big feelings, as the kids say today.
You're feeling a lot of big feelings. Yeah.
Yeah. Rich and poor, they all loved him. They rallied around him as the flag bearer of the new American sort of idea in the arts. And in 1836, Forrest set sail for England to teach the English about ranch dressing and no paid maternity leave.
Who needs it? You know?
You don't need them. Yeah, certainly not in England.
Right back into the factory.
Yeah.
It's funny because they really did do really well at not giving anyone rights for a long time. So thanks. Yeah.
Which ones?
Both.
The Americans, the English, who? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the recap. Got all that? Any questions before we go on? Remember all of it? Listen, you're wearing glasses, so I assume that you already knew all of this.
I'm smarter now.
I can feel your IQ going up.
Yeah, I'm not a dumb idiot anymore.
Sorry, sadly, we're going to have to cancel the podcast.
I know, this is bad for me. I'll take them off. How about that?
No, it's fine. Keep them on. Whoa, I never realized how ugly you were. Sorry, just kidding.
It's just like that movie.
Yeah.
She's all that.
She's all of that.
Did you ever watch that?
I never saw that one, no, but of course I know all about it. It's referenced constantly. Okay, so in September 1836, Forrest made his first trip to England, and on October 17th, 1836, he made his debut at Drury Lane Theatre in London. I'm not sure if this still exists. Do you know about Drury Lane Theatre? Is it still there? Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be. I know that Drury Lane is like a big old deal or whatever.
You're English, so I assumed that you would know.
I'm not English.
For the purposes of the rest of this episode of the podcast, you are now English.
Genetically, yes, but I'm
good enough for me.
I don't want to just smear Paul's name this whole time.
Listen, did he know Cyndi Lauper? Is that why she sang that song about the Goonies?
Probably.
Because the Goonies are good enough? Are the Goonies part of the good enough lineage of family? Is that why the Goonies are good enough? I don't know. Anyway, lamest joke ever. Moving on. So he plays Spartacus in the tragedy The Gladiator, which was one of his American prize plays. Because remember, he gave a bunch of money out because he was holding contests for people to actually write American style plays because he wanted the American arts to expand and become a proper thing. And
nice.
It catered to all of his strength as a performer, which quote says his tremendous physique for enunciating in sonorous periods his opinions about tyranny and for the astonishing physical realism which he employed in melodrama. Got all that?
Oh, I did.
And the English were like, oh, that's interesting, which impressed for sure. But, could he talk Shakespeare good? That's really what they're there for.
It's like our little brother is kind of okay at this, but
good for her.
Good for her.
Good for her. But that's the big test. So he soon added Othello and Macbeth to his repertoire. And then they were like, oh, jolly good time. this guy, this chap is swell, and he gets to eat blood pudding with us with a side of Marmite.
It's all Marmite. You gotta get deeper into it.
There's no other food. Yeah, fish and chips.
Jellied eel.
Yeah, listen, I wasn't gonna bring up eels because I don't like eels, but
I know.
Disgusting. Is it real eel that they're eating, or is it just called eel and it's like intestines?
No, it's
or
eel.
something?
It's a huge staple of the English diet over the past like several centuries.
Disgusting.
I know.
Gross. Blech. I hate all eel. Blech. Blech. Anyway.
Wow.
So the English, they're like, this is great.
Racist.
And they do the worst thing of all, and they invite him to come eat with them, which, as you know, if you're going to go have an English dinner, just please, I'd rather die. It's at the Garrett Club in the West End,
okay,
which
since
is
I'm
apparently
representing
fancy.
England right now, I have to say it's not terrible all the time. There we go. Everyone happy? Cool.
Fish and chips. That's it. That's all I can tell you.
Fish and chips.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's the only thing that's acceptable of English food.
with curry sauce. Okay.
Not even theirs. Anyway, moving on. Okay. So they invite him to the Garrett Club in the West End, and there he meets, who does he meet? The one and only Bill Chuck McCready, because of course this is like the fancy club that all the like, prestige of acting and theater people and all that. And they
my
get to
turf
meet.
now.
Exactly. And he meets McCready, and they're friendly, right? Because of course, at the end of the day, these guys are professional peers, and this is the first time that they're meeting. And he's like, "Oh, who's this guy that's like making a big splash in America?" And he's coming to do his debut. And of course, he's heard of McCready because McCready's this huge deal in England. So there's sort of this like professional butt sniffing of like acknowledging who each other are and meeting, and it's fine. There's no beef yet. And Forrest, they start chatting. He's talking about how they're incorporating this new thing called degrees into the weather. And then McCready's like, "What do you mean Celsius? What are you talking about? I don't understand." And Forrest is like, "Dude, never mind. Listen, I really appreciate this dinner and all, but like, I need real food. What's this thing I keep hearing about? Like a Downton Arby's? Is there Downton Arby's? Can I go get like a big beef and cheddar? Like some shit. I need real food. What is this? I can't eat eel."
It's all we have. Like I will say, they also do the imperial system.
Oh, they do in England.
Yeah, and plus if they're making fun of us, then they're like, "Whoa, we don't do that," but they actually do.
They actually do it.
They actually have their own thing, which is like if you like, for example, maybe I'll save this for a tab because it's absurd. But they used to have their own unit of measurement, like just bonkers, made no sense. But they still use some of it, which is like for weighing things. They say like, "I weigh 10 stone."
Oh, right. I never understood what that was about.
It's just the unit of measurement. It's a stone, which I think is like 10 pounds.
Sure. That's like there's all these memes about American articles where they try and like convert like something where they're like in the headlines, they'll just be like, "Oh, this person weighed as much as like two like French
football
fry."
Fields.
Football. Like, because Americans can't like process anything and they can't visualize. I'm bad at that too. Like I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea when it comes to scale. I'm good at like visualizing things in space, but when it comes to scale, like I have no crowds. I have no clue.
Really?
People are always like, "How many people can fit in the Hollywood Bowl?" And I'm like, I couldn't tell you if it's 1,000 or 10,000. Like I don't have any concept of that. I can't figure it out. Anyway, moving on. So all in all, it was relatively an uneventful trip. He got his debut. It was nice. He met McCready. He had some terrible English food. It was fine. But Forrest decides, my job here is done. And he packs up and he heads back to the States to perform to the hometown crowd, which had slowly been evolving into a new beast.
Oh.
And now I want to talk a little bit about the state of America in the late 1830s.
Okay.
Well, technically not like the state of America, because America is not a state. It's a collection of states. It's a country, right? I'm talking about the country of America.
Yeah,
but
the country of America. Yeah.
Country of America. Specifically, I want to talk about the state of New York and the city of New York City. And for a litany of reasons that, we've talked about on this show several times, New York City in particular is expanding like crazy. It's got a lot to do with like New York being the first port that most of these ships are coming into when they first arrive in the States. And it's a hub to get to like other rivers and shit. And so naturally there's all these businesses and people that start sort of springing up around there. And as New York got crazier, more and more people move. And because they're trying to find work, because that's where everything's happening, right? This is classic. This happens in Chicago in the mid 1900s, of course, as people move from the South. The same thing that's happening in the 1800s with New York. And America, of course, is also industrializing rapidly because, the dream of AI is coming into fruition. People finally had the freedom to work on jobs that they really wanted, like handling white phosphorus.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about phosphorus. Throwback
Shout
to
out to
like
episode
episode 2.
Oh yeah, Fosse Jaw was your second episode, not your
Yeah.
Bob Fosse Jaw. Anyway, so predictably, the rich, they got richer.
Yeah.
And as always is the case in America, stupid, idiot, dumbass morons thought this was a good thing because America. And eventually this poet and author, his name is Nathaniel Parker Willis, he coins the phrase, the upper 10, referring to the wealthiest 10,000 residents of New York City.
Interesting.
And of course, the obvious parallel to today is the 1%, but potato, tomato, whatever, it's all the same. And
potato, tomato.
potato, tomato, potato.
Tomato,
however you'd like to do
potato.
it. Tomato, potato. And the upper 10 was meant to be like awesome and how like a sign of how cool and rich America was and how you could do anything if you just didn't pay fair wages and owned slaves and killed Indians and stole their land. But
the American dream.
you can make it here. But eventually, though, the working class at the time were like, yeah, no, whack. Like, that's bullshit. And the upper 10 came to be used as like a borderline slur almost, where they're like,
good.
That's like now when you say it, you're like, oh, you're part of like the upper crust. Like, you're part of the 1%. Anybody who's not rich, if you call them part of the 1%, it's like an insult, right?
100%. If anyone called me that, I'd be like, take it back.
Yeah, take it back.
Listen,
just because I published a book with Jane Goodall, who was my best friend and paid for all of my bills, and I'm in her will right now after she passed away, doesn't mean I'm... Jane Goodall, famously rich because all conservationists are rich.
Yep.
Anyway, and the rich, much like today, were like, that's not fair. We have all the money and property and resources. You can't be mean to me.
We didn't work hard for this, so we deserve it.
Yeah, total dickheads. And listen, if you're rich and you're listening to this podcast, first of all, please go to patreon.com/500 open tabs and give us all your money. But second, just go away. Money does not earn you admiration. You get respect by giving respect, not trying to steal every last cent that working class people have and also trying to steal their attention every waking moment of their miserable waking lives. Please die.
Yes. Or alternative, since they don't tax you as much, just tax yourself.
Tax yourself or
donate that money to charities or to
real charities,
families.
Not fake puppet charity 501c3s that you do as a way to launder your reputation so that you don't actually have to give money away. Also, don't hire lobbyists. Just let bills pass. Stop buying politicians.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. But at the end of the day, it's like you're not trapped by being like, oh, I don't have to pay as much taxes. That's so messed up. Then just do it yourself anyway.
Yeah, idiots.
There.
Anyway, so so angry all the time. So of course at this time, lots of immigrants are starting to pile into New York City, not in the insane numbers just yet. But of course you get English immigrants who moved here like 5 years ago. They're suddenly starting to act like they own the place, and they're getting all mad at other immigrants that had the audacity to come here after they did. And much like today, there's a lot of parallels to today. Much like today, rather than getting mad at their president who was too distracted because he was funding genocide and tanking the economy, a bunch of people started scapegoating whatever easy target that they could. And now they're chanting dumbass America First slogans. And the next thing you know, they're wearing the same idiotic hats. And they all start to merge into a hive mind. And of course, you know who I'm talking about?
Who? Andrew Jackson.
The Bowery Boys.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the genocidal president.
I was talking about Andrew Jackson, but I'm saying they start to form.
The Bowery Boys.
The Bowery Boys. Have you heard of the Bowery Boys?
I have heard of the Bowery Boys. Yes.
Yep.
The Irish ones, right?
Okay, so here's the thing
Fenians.
about the Bowery Boys that is very confusing. I'm going to jump ahead. So according to author Peter Adams, who wrote a book called The Bowery Boys, Street Corner Radicals and Politics of Rebellion, he said, quote, "It would be a mistake to identify the Bowery Boys as a specific group at a specific time. There were several gangs who referred to themselves as the Bowery Boys at various times under different leaders during the antebellum years." So effectively, it's like you can't just go talk to the president of Antifa today. It's like it's not really like like anybody can come be like, "Oh, I'm this.
I'm a Bowery boy."
Yeah, they're the ones that people wrote about the most, which might have just been one random affiliation of people who called themselves the Bowery Boys that people would associate. But like some of them were Irish that came over and then they weren't necessarily, I don't know if they were Bowery Boys. I don't think they were Bowery Boys in Ireland and brought it over. I think it was like a thing that was happening here. A lot of it was confusing. I'll say this.
Well, they brought over a lot of their Irish home rule ideas where it's like they had to leave Ireland because they were being literally starved.
Right.
And they were these rebels that were like, we should have our own country back, Ireland. And so they brought all that over
Yes.
Understandably. Anyway.
And the other thing too is like a lot of the Bowery Boys were known as being anti-Catholic. Like they're very anti-Catholic, which is
they were Protestant?
so it's like an anti-Irish thing, but then of course
Weird.
it's like I don't know. It's really muddled, and so like I wasn't going to get to the bottom of this, so I'll just say it's sort of it's like a catch-all term almost. It seems like,
Okay.
and it was like again, it's they're not Antifa, they're not like blowing stuff
Right.
up or anything like that or whatever people think that Antifa is.
Yeah,
But, like,
neither is Antifa.
Right. I'm
But
just
yeah.
saying it's like a generic term that like doesn't.
I
It
see.
seems like it's not like doesn't really apply to any specific thing. It's just like whoever wanted to be like, well, that's a Bowery Boy. And for anyone who's listening, which I'm sure you've never seen this, but Gangs of New York, you've never seen this, right? Correct.
A long time ago I did.
Oh, you
but-
did see Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like the later stage of the Bowery. So basically, like after
okay.
the Civil War, by like I think 1870, they're essentially like
Yeah.
diversified. They like they peter out, but it's like DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis wearing the tall hats and like
Yeah.
fighting all the firemen. But like in that story, DiCaprio's character is like, oh, he's an Irish immigrant, and like Daniel Day-Lewis plays William Poole, the Bill the Butcher who like killed his dad. So he like becomes
Right.
a Bowery Boy sort of to try and like fight and like get back. So it's like this whole thing where like there's a million reasons why somebody would have been a Bowery Boy.
Okay.
But anyway, what the important thing, and you sort of touched on this, is no matter what chapter you're in, if you were a Bowery Boy or a Bowery brother, I kept thinking of the Bernie Bros and like how Biden was like the Bernie brothers.
The Bowery Bros.
The Bowery brothers. If you're a Bowery bro, above all, you were a New Yorker first, right?
Okay.
And if you weren't born in New York and raised there, then you can pretty much suck it. And
Wow.
they loved to get drunk and sing Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' iconic ballad "Empire State of
course.
Mind" at the top of their lungs because it hits them right in the feels. And when immigrants started coming in on the ships, the Bowery Boys were there at the docks because they were going to quiz them on their Sex and the City knowledge, right? Because they're just
course,
like, what makes you think that you could just come into America without knowing which one of these four broads you are, all right? You think you're a Carrie? I'd like to see you try.
I'm a Miranda myself.
Yeah. Listen, everybody thinks that they're a Samantha, but listen, I don't think you're that sex positive, all right? You're uptight.
They're like, I guess this is better than starving in Ireland.
I
Is
guess,
be yelled
yeah.
at about.
Listen,
Dude.
don't bring all that Charlotte shit over here, all right? We're progressive in America. You take what you want. We ain't a bunch of prudes. We bang on a first date.
Oh.
And anyway, and like the truest of New Yorkers, above all else, they loved the theater. They loved Broadway all week long.
What?
They go to shows. Phantom, Cats, Hamilton, you name it, they saw it. Because remember, this is before they would get easily radicalized by podcasts. So they had to get these shows.
yeah.
They had to go to the shows in their stupid hats and get all drunk. And as our friend Frank would say, they bring whores. And Roxy, she's my main whore.
She's my main whore.
She's my main whore. I want to make an honest woman out of her.
I want to make her my wife. I just watched that one because you told me to.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Shut
because we
up,
were
baby
quoting
dick.
it. Oh, shut up, baby dick. Sean and I have been saying that to each other for like two straight weeks. Her voice. Also, did you know she was Josie on Beekman's World?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
She
Roxy.
kept it Josie.
She kept it. She didn't.
She
keep
kept
it
it Josie.
She played Josie on Beekman's World, and then went on to play the whore in that episode of Always Sunny.
It's one of the funniest in a show filled with hilarious side
yeah.
characters. Probably one of the funniest.
Top 10, top 5
Yeah.
at least. Anyway,
Anyway, they're bringing their whores to the theater. The Bowery Boys are with their top hats, and of course they're all like excited. And if they liked what was happening on stage, they demand that the performers do it again. And if they didn't, they would like
Ugh.
scream and throw like vegetables and shit, like old school, the stuff you used to see in like old cartoons. Like
Yeah.
they were doing this like in the 1800s. And some people were like, this is rather uncouth to be so lewd and rowdy at the theater. But I think from what I read, somebody that was like a big support, not a huge supporter of it, but was kind of okay with it and like kind of was okay with the Bowery Boys. And I think he liked the Irish contingent upon it. And like the emphasis on being like these working class dudes was weirdly enough Walt Whitman.
oh, No, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, and Walt Whitman was very like, basically he's like, no, bro, like this is sick. Like, sure,
Yeah.
they're like all emotional, but like they're going to the theater and like this is art for the masses. Like, don't hate on
Yep.
it. Like, we're fighting for their hearts and minds of America's youth. And I hate to say it, but it's better than them watching. It's better that they're watching like Lestat. Instead of like a UFC fight where they're just going to get like all rowdy and start getting like testosterone and angry and like just to have them at least like relate to stories, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, but not
That's
Phantom.
true.
That's toxic. We
Not
don't like
Phantom.
that.
Absolutely not.
No.
You know, I
Never
share
Phantom.
the same sentiment as you because everything about Phantom I learned against my will.
Yes. Same.
Being
I had a
in
whole-
theater. Yeah, your whole thing.
my whole podcasting career for 4 years began on that premise.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to Lindsay and Angie. Love you too. Thank you for torturing me for all those years. It was a good time. Anyway, so Walt Whitman's like, no, they can't go to the. He's like, they can see anything in the theater except for Phantom. That's the one. That's where I draw the line.
Walt Whitman's like, I hate that thing so much. Okay,
Yeah, even Walt
gotta
Whitman
get him
hated
on the
it.
podcast.
Yeah.
The corpse of Walt Whitman. I also hate Phantom.
Great Walt Whitman impression.
Thank you.
Anyway, so, you know, then, of course, more and more Irish people start to roll into the States, kind of like what we were saying. And this is suddenly like anti-English sentiment like starts exploding amongst the working class, which is awesome. But, you know, we don't know if it's hard to see exactly like what it's congealing around, right? Because ultimately it's like you said, all these Irish people are like, well, we hate the English. Like they tried to kill all of us.
Starved my children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's all these, you know, quote unquote Americans who are here, which, you know, Bowery Boys and like New Yorkers and shit. And then they're all like, you hate the English? Like, cool. So even though a lot of these people didn't get along because like, you know, the Americans are suspicious of immigrants and the immigrants that are coming are just trying to work. And under normal circumstances, they would be, you know, pitted against each other. Suddenly they're like, we don't care as long as you hate the English, like we're cool to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
As long as there was an English person to be mad about, they were more angry about that than like necessarily the Irish
Catholicism.
coming in. Yeah, Catholicism. It's like we have a real enemy here and it's the British Empire. And and so, you know, enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. So
Of course.
and in 1843, Macready comes to America to do like a little tour and make some cash. And more than ever at this point, he's revered and celebrated, but by the upper 10. And the lower 10 were like, screw that guy. He sucks. He's English. He's all like understated and like barely does anything. But like Forrest is our boy. And it was said, quote, this is from a source, Forrest's acting commanded honest throbs and tears, while the icy glitter of the other one, the dainty clapping of kid gloves.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they were like, no, our you know, this guy is not American. He doesn't embody the ethos of like what it means to be an American. Of being in America is being bold. It's about being loud. Also, they said that Forrest would take like these long pauses. That's what he was really famous for.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know, because he's like deep in thought. And I just kept thinking of Ralph Wiggum in the George Washington play in that Simpsons episode where they're like, he's sitting above the fire and he's like deciding whether or not to throw the you choo choo choose me Valentine's Day card while
Into
Lisa's
it.
waiting for him. Yeah. So it's like, that's a very Forrest thing. It's just like people were like, but again, it's like no one did that at the time,
No,
right? So if that's
probably-
the first time that somebody was waiting for these long pauses, people are like, what's, did he forget his lines? It's like a
pulls
RIP,
you
our
in.
old editing teacher used to call it the lean forward moment. Where he was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you want the audience to lean forward and be like, oh my God, what's happening?
What's about to happen? Yeah.
Yeah, Norm Holland.
Oh, which one?
That was our teacher, Norm Holland. He's
Oh.
great. He's a sweet man. He passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. Anyway,
Oh.
so that was like the lean forward moment, is like he would take these long pauses and the audience, I think, would just be like, oh my God. Because he was also giving you this kind of roller coaster range where he would be like
Yeah.
really loud 1 minute and then like these long pauses the next minute. And it was like these very varied emotional bits that were kind of totally crazy and new and interesting.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Forrest, he's like, you know, it's cool. McCready's in town. He's in America. Like, I'm going to show him around. I'm going to make sure that he's taken care of, because he's still cool with them. And he's still like, you know, he's still this very famous big actor. And McCready even goes and stays with him. They have like a sleepover where they talk about like
Aw.
what boys they like and who they had
Boys.
crushes on at school. And as you always like to say, they probably kissed.
They probably kissed. That's what people do at sleepovers, right?
Exactly. Every time.
That's what I did at sleepovers.
I never kissed anybody at a sleepover, sadly.
Yeah.
Even to this day, being with my wife for
Wow.
12 years, never
Virgin
kissed.
right here, guys. This guy.
Still, yeah.
Go on.
And McCready, he's getting effectively over the pants HJs from New York's upper crust, but he's not an idiot. He sees that people on the street are like, we don't like you, and they don't want him there, and he sees the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, too, don't forget, McCready, he's still a theater kid, right? He's still like got an ego, and he's got like this boss boy energy, and he'd be known to lose his temper. And he's like the biggest thing in England, and he's like big around the world. So it's like definitely an ego blow for him to come to the States and be like, oh, these Bowery boys and all these Irish are just like shit pissing all over me while I'm here because they think I'm a loser. But just based on the fact that I'm English and not like, taking long pauses. What the hell?
I mean, I will never fault the Irish for absolutely loathing the English on a deep ancient level.
Never ever. Anyway. Scottish too, to be honest. And
Welsh as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Welsh, all of them.
All of them, yeah.
No one likes them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
but anyway, so McCready, he's like, and he's like, the vibe has changed, right? He's like, the vibe is different. I
should leave.
He's like, he doesn't swear off America at this time. Like, it's still fairly civil, right? He goes, and again, Forrest is nice to him. He still gets his ass kissed by all these rich people and all these like, upper crust, whatever. But he's like, right? It's beard stroking.
Yes.
And the following year, Forrest decides to go back to England on another tour, and he appeared at the Covent Garden in February 1845 as Othello.
Okay.
And it was on this fateful run, on that night, that he was hissed by 3 separate groups. This is the English who do this to him.
Oh, they don't even like him anymore. Oh, no. That's not going to feel good.
That's one night, right? This was repeated the next night as well. Though it should be noted that the supporters drowned out the haters, but it didn't stop there.
No.
Some London reviews called his performance, quote, a burlesque of the elder Keen's mannerisms varied by the Yankee nasal twang, which I guess is an 1800s diss.
About our accents?
Basically, they're demeaning him. They're like, like the twang from your nose of being English. Basically, they're like, oh, this non-English accent is like hurting my ears. And he's just copying Keene. Remember Keene from the other one? But
yes.
They called his Macbeth, quote, comic, his Lear, quote, a roaring pantaloon. Basically, they're just like, this guy's a bitch. Like, they're talking shit in the press. And despite having absolutely no evidence whatsoever or any reason to believe this, he decides, Forrest, he becomes convinced he knows who the culprit is.
Oh, no.
Obviously, all of these people, the ones that were hissing, the ones in the press, they had been hired by the one and only George Soros, right?
Of course. He pays all those actors to go cry at mass shootings. It's the same here.
Exactly.
Wow, that's paranoia.
Yeah. No. It's McCready, obviously.
Yeah.
McCready couldn't handle how much Forrest was loved in his hometown, so he went out of his way to hire all these crisis actors in the mainstream media to make him look bad. But McCready had forgotten one important fact. Americans refuse to go to therapy because they can't afford healthcare, and they instead decide to lash out in the most embarrassing way possible. So Forrest headed for Edinburgh, where McCready was doing his run as Hamlet.
Okay.
And he bought tickets to the fanciest box seats that he could find, went to the show, and waited to exact his revenge, which is where I'll pick back up.
No, come on,
next
man.
week's episode.
Oh, what? Another 3-parter? Whatever, dude.
There's some beef. There's some beef about to start.
Oh, what's he gonna do? John Wilkes Booth him? Because that's the first thing I thought. What do we do in America?
Because you're an American.
We go to the theater
that's what we thought.
and we shoot
exactly.
them. Like Americans, we just immediately go to guns. It's like,
No.
I don't know what else they would do besides shoot
Which,
at him, you know?
To be fair, Booth also an actor around the same time, so
I
it's
was
not
gonna
that crazy to
say.
think that's what he would do. No, spoiler alert, he doesn't kill him. It's much, much lamer, but it is funny because it's like the beginning of this rap beef that the two of them really start to get into.
Oh, I'm excited for this. Another three-parter. All right. Wow.
You predicted it last week, but I was like, there's just so much fun, weird little details in this one that I was
draw
like,
it out.
I'm
Who
just going to
cares?
milk it.
Milk it. Just like the Mongolians milk their horses.
Exactly. Milking the horses as much as I can. Anyway, that's my tab. I will conclude the Astor Place riots on next week's episode. And I'm excited to get to the finale of it because it's a riot. And
you're building up to something.
Yeah. I thought it would be fun to really, I hope you enjoy the structure of how I did this one this time.
Oh, yeah. You're very good at structure.
Thank you.
I bet he shops at structure.
It's immediately where my mind went to.
Always. Anyway, yeah. And for those of you who are rich enough to go to the theater, why don't you head over to our Patreon? 10 cents a day, $3 a month for this bespectacled person to talk to you more and this guy with the beard to talk to you more. Just go listen on there. There's lots of fun extras and,
outtakes, reaction videos, weirdo stuff, live streams that were too hot for YouTube that we put behind the paywall. Anyway,
my turn?
Yeah, Hannah, what have you got for us this week for your tab?
Oh boy. Well, I don't even know how I opened this tab. It's just been sitting there for a long time, but I did mention Mongolians earlier,
right?
Milking their horses.
I did think that was a little random, but I just assumed that was something we talked about and I'd forgotten.
No. It was I got into it really a little early, but now we're going to talk about Mongolia.
Mongolians milking horses.
That's only one little minute of that, but yeah, we're going somewhere we haven't been before. 11th century Mongolia.
Hell yeah, I love it. As long as it's not England, I'm very excited.
It's not, and I don't even, again, I don't remember how I got here, but the woman we'll be talking about is my new hero, so.
Oh, interesting. Is she an English person that's in Mongolia in the 11th century?
It's her. No, Jane Goodall. No.
Yeah.
I'm going to be telling you about the Mongolian warrior princess, Khutulun.
All right.
Have you heard of Khutulun before?
I have not heard of Khutulun. Khutulun or Huta?
No one really knows how to pronounce her name, but most places I saw was Khutulun or Khutulun. So Khutulun. Khutulun was the great-great-granddaughter of Genghis Khan. So before we even get into Khutulun, because we got to have some context, like what's going on.
Aren't we all the great-great-great-great-grand person?
Something.
Probably me more than you, but yes.
You're for sure somehow related to... Dude, after reading all about all this, I'm like, holy cow. The Mongols were insane.
There's also Mongols there's Mongol people in Iran too, if I remember correctly.
I'm going to get into that, actually.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, now still, not from 500 years ago. It's definitely a somewhat of a population that's I was going to say in the States, in Iran.
In Iran, yeah.
It's like an ethnic minority that exists. That's
does not
substantial enough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that because
okay, cool.
The Ilkhanate which is the Mongolian-led, Mongolia ruled Persia at the time. So I got a lot of stuff from this book. I didn't read the whole thing, but I read a bunch of this part about the women, the Mongolian women.
Cool.
It's called The Secret History of the Mongol Queens by Jack Weatherford. And I didn't really know this before, but Mongolia had a very surprisingly progressive attitude toward women, as long as they were Mongolian. They would be horrible to everyone else because that was how they did it. But to their own women, they, it was a lot more, there wasn't as much daintiness forced upon them or gender roles forced upon them. Mm-hmm. And I also got a lot of this from the Journal of Marco Polo, who has a firsthand account of meeting Khutulun.
Oh, okay.
Khutulun, him and a Persian chronicler named Rashid al-Din Hamadani. And he is fascinating. We'll get into him in a minute. So those two guys, here's why it's not a myth, because these two guys both separately confirmed that she existed and that much of it was true. So Mongolian Empire was founded in 1206 by Genghis Khan or Chinggis Khan, and he did something truly incredible, which was unite tons of nomadic tribes all across the Central Asian steppes into one huge empire, which was truly, even by today's standards, is like,
Yeah.
how did you do that? Like,
Yeah.
he was powerful, charismatic, and he wanted to rule the whole world. That was his end goal in all of this. And at its height, the Mongol Empire was the largest contiguous land empire in history, covering 9.3 million square miles.
Wow. There was not that many people back then, though. So
there wasn't. That's why
the
it's
entire world is very different.
Yeah.
In that period,
it was a little easier, and also they were an early prime location for kind of ruling everybody because they were right there in the middle of the, like I said, the Central Asian steppes. They could go to Russia, China, all over. So this means that 9.3 million square miles was about 16% of Earth's landmass, which is insane. And they were near unstoppable on horseback, and there were a ton of them. They could maneuver well, especially against foot soldiers that China and Persia and other places often employed.
And Shredder employed as well. Which were
and
robots.
Shredder, yeah. Mm-hmm. They were great against robots, surprisingly. Yeah. They could cover huge amounts of terrain because they were on horseback. Yeah. And they were absolutely ruthless when they conquered.
Yep. I think we all listened to the Dan Carlin series about this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Genghis
if you
Khan.
want to know more about the Mongols and Genghis Khan, go listen to Dan Carlin. It's a great, Anyway, I'm not going to get too much into like that because that's a whole separate thing. I am going to touch a little bit on the fact that they were also highly bureaucratic and politically minded. So it wasn't
that's
just
always
some
how it goes. That's the same thing with the Persian Empire. It's like the ones who really like took over and like united is like, it's always a bureaucracy, which now is like a dirty word, but it's like pay taxes so we can basically have like a state and like rights and an army, and like without that you don't get to unify people. And the smart ones are like, practice whatever religion you want, we don't really care. Like, you guys do that, all we care about is the state. I'm not surprised by that at all,
because they didn't really have there wasn't that like strict, because they hadn't converted to Islam or Christianity or anything. It was all just very like the tribal or nomadic religions of the time.
This is why religious fascism never wins. It's why
never
it always
wins.
Fails. It
always
fails.
Crumbles. Every time, you guys. Every single time. I mean, they all always fail. Anyway, so you had to be bureaucratic to keep an empire like that together. Yeah. They turned rivals against each other using spies. They employed spies, which long before any other.
The CIA
was kind of a thing. The CIA, the Mongolian CIA was brutal.
No, I'm saying long before the CIA would do that, they would go in.
I thought you were saying they're the CIA. I'm like,
that's basically the equivalent of like a Mongolian CIA from back in the day. Really,
that's true. Yeah, they go in and
that's all a spy is. It's like, oh, here's Kermit Roosevelt going into Iran to basically make sure that all these factions are pitted against each other, so the English can come in and get all their oil. Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. Yay. British Petroleum. Anyway, yes, this is a very common practice. The moral of that story is
just don't nationalize your oil. How about that? I'm just
kidding.
True.
You shouldn't own your own oil.
It's their fault.
Never. Yeah, it's our own fault.
Yikes. Okay.
Sorry, I keep sidetracking you.
No, it's fine. So they had spycraft. They also rewarded their friends with like protection and wealth. They married their daughters to important people. And the fact that they had, it was like a group of khans, which is the word, it comes closest to the word for king in English. But a khan was more of a tribal leader, or more of like I guess it's like a king. But there were multiple khans. There was one high khan, and then there was a bunch of others.
Mini khans?
They were mini khans, yeah. And they were all very rich, and they
were like 1 or 2 days, basically, tops.
2-day khan, yeah. Really not very many people. It's a low. No one bought anything at the 2-day con. Everyone was mad. All the artists were like, why did I come here? Why did Portland seem like a good idea? Who told me that this was a good one?
Speaking of which, shout out.
Oh,
a Pizza Shoals. Delicious pizza place in Portland. Loved it.
So long story short, the Mongols were highly coordinated, fast, extremely good at what they did, and unique in that they employed archery on horseback, which was a killer combination. Yeah. So they had this thing called the 3 manly talents. Okay, so there was archery, horseback riding.
Kissing was number 1.
And making out. No, archery, horseback riding, wrestling, and probably making out. So Mongolian wrestling.
You know where all 3 of those are going to lead to, obviously, yes.
I mean, if everyone's wrestling and they're not going to kiss,
What's the point? Why even bother? Why even wrestle?
Well, it's not like Greco-Roman wrestling. Their wrestling is
It's not
way
like the
less.
UFC. So much sexual tension in every UFC match I've ever
It's
seen.
just like stop and just bang each other.
Yeah, I can't handle
Less
it. You can cut the
CTE.
tension with a knife.
Way less brain damage, less violence. Just do it. Just kiss. Anyway, so I got ahead of myself. I wanted to say one more thing about Mongolia, and that they with this it was the first of its kind of this massive trade route that just cut from coast to coast through the empire, and it brought about what they called the Pax Mongolica, which was like the Mongolian peace, and it was peaceful for a time, and they kind of ran this as long as Genghis Khan was alive. It worked pretty well, and eventually they conquered the already fragile Khwarezmian Empire of Persia in 1219, and they established the Ilkhanate, which was the Mongol rulers who eventually converted to Islam and changed Persia, as we all know, forever. If it weren't for this Ghazan Khan, who was the Mongol emperor of Persia, I don't know if it would be a majority Islamic nation. I don't know. It's just he was the first one, and he really pushed it. Thanks, Mongolia. In the 1230s, that went over well. In the 1230s and onward, they've conquered parts of Europe and northwestern China. And anyway, 1227, Genghis Khan dies.
Right.
And before he had conquered Persia, he had set out and said, okay, here's the son that I'm going to give my empire to. And he decided to divide it among 4 sons, with one of them being the main Khan.
Right.
And they didn't really have primogeniture like European kingdoms, like the son of a king, it has to be the next one. They got to choose, and he chose his son Ogadai Khan, who, despite being a high-functioning alcoholic, or perhaps because of this, he was elected primary ruler at the Kurultai, which was a military council of all the chiefs and khans that get together and elect the next Khan. Or
listen, I'm going to need you to, at some point, just allow me in my brain to think of Khan Noonien Singh from Star Trek. Can one of them be Khan as you tell the story?
Yeah, of course. I don't know who that is or what it is. But yes,
Khan
the answer is
Star
yes.
Trek. The Wrath of Khan. It's the second Star Trek movie. Okay, anyway.
You think I've seen that?
Khan!
Oh,
You've seen that before. You've seen the Shatner clip where he screams the name of Khan.
Oh, yeah, I have.
You have seen that. That's what that's from.
Sure. Anyway. I'm dumb when it comes to this
that
kind of
movie
thing.
is great. That's a
Is
great
it?
movie. Yeah.
My ex loved it.
It's a wonderful movie. Fantastic film. Often seen as the best of the Star Trek movies.
Should I watch it next time I'm at your house?
That would be fun. Oh my God, Sarah would love it.
I would yell through all of it, and you know that. I'm the
But
worst.
we've seen it, so it's fine.
That's true. So they chose the next Khan, and it was this Ogadai guy, and he was a pretty good leader. I mean, he was brutal. He ordered some pretty horrific things done to a lot of people, especially women. But at home, he was a nice, fun guy who drank way too much, but was a pretty good leader. And the fact that his alcoholism survived 700 years in written history it means he was like...
That's no amateur drinker. That's like,
no. This dude was an alcoholic, but he got things done. So
high functioning alcoholic.
High functioning alcoholic, ran things. And around this
He's
time...
like, listen, we got drinking to do. I don't have time for this shit. Right?
Conquer Korea.
Here, this, I need you to conquer this.
Yeah. Let me have my
back
drinks.
Soju or whatever. I don't know. He's like, I
Whatever
need more
they have
drinks.
there.
Yeah.
And they do, here's the thing. They have this stuff like this, it's like the national drink. And it's fermented mare's milk. So it's horse milk alcohol.
Oh, that's horse alcohol?
And he would just, it sounds nasty. So this is around the time when the empire starts kind of getting shaky.
Yeah.
And
it's getting the shakes because it didn't have enough alcohol in its system.
It's in withdrawal. Where's that mare's milk? Give me that milk. Bring me the closest mare.
Straight from the source.
He eventually drinks himself to death. Yeah. But everyone then wrote about it being like, yeah, we told him so. Like, there's a lot of people who wrote about this man's alcoholism to the point where I was like, okay, this must have been a huge part of his life.
Yeah.
So yeah, this started fracturing the empire, and there was a bunch of Khans who came in and it didn't work. And after a while, it all kind of separated into 4 separate mini empires within the big one, and they were always fighting. So there was the Yuan dynasty, in China, and it was the most powerful, and it was ruled by Kublai Khan, who you've heard of.
Yeah.
He's
Where do I
one of
remember
the
that name from?
Kublai Khan was the great grandson of Genghis Khan, and he was brutal.
Oh, I just heard about him randomly. I thought you had covered him in a tab. That's why I was
No.
confused. Okay.
He's just extremely. He's famous for being an absolute maniac, like just insane, brutal, horrific, war criminal to the highest degree. And he loved luxury, and he kind of liked the court life, and so he wanted to kind of lean more into the Chinese way of doing things. There's the Golden Horde, and that was in Northwest, where it's Russia and Eastern Europe. The Golden Horde.
I wasn't going to say it. You saw me like smiling because
I know, and I knew. I read your weirdly. I
didn't want to be disrespectful of their horde and then just refer to it as a whore, but the Golden Horde.
They were the Golden Horde.
I feel like that's what Frank says. She's my Golden Horde. Doesn't he say? Yeah. Okay. I didn't just make that up.
There was the Ilkhanate, which was Persia and the Middle East, and then there was the Chagatai Khanate, which was Central Asia, and that is where we are now. So we are in the Central Asian portion of this kind of fracturing empire.
Got it.
After a few years, the next one to come to rule was Kaidu Khan. And Kaidu Khan was the cousin of Kublai Khan. So they're all family. It's like Game of Thrones in the way that everyone's related.
Everyone's related.
They're
Russians
all fighting.
And the French and the English. They're all just three kings.
Yes.
I gotcha.
So Kaidu Khan had a bunch of kids. 2 of them were daughters and 14 of them were sons. Wow. And one of these daughters was Khutulun. And she was this gigantic woman described by Marco Polo, who has been staying in that area at this time, as, let me read what his word for word what he said. He said, so well made in all of her limbs and so tall and strongly built that she might almost be taken for a giantess. So he was like, this woman's huge. Like, whoa. And
speaking of Game of Thrones, he's like Tormund. He's like, where's the woman?
Brienne. Yeah, no,
yeah,
seriously.
exactly. He's like, I want to make giant babies with her. I love it.
So yeah,
that
we got some Tormund going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Brienne's amazing. So we got Brienne of Tarth over here. But she's way more hardcore than Brienne of Tarth. And so this woman, it was notable to Marco Polo because he was like, what is going on? Like, I've been around the Mongols for a while, but there's this gigantic woman, and she pretty much runs the show. Like, her dad goes to her. Her dad goes to her for, like, advice, military stuff. She was his right-hand man at all times. Awesome. And her 14 brothers were like, you know.
Yeah.
And she
They're like, I'm going to go podcast about how my dad doesn't give me enough attention.
And how everything's a woman's
Cancel
fault.
culture has just gone too far.
And so Kaidu Khan was constantly at war with his cousin Kublai Khan because he was like, that stupid idiot over there with his silky little slippers and his nice little palace has no idea what we go through out here. He's forgotten his roots. He's just like, this guy is a huge wuss. Yeah. All because he's given up the Mongol way of life. So he's always fighting with his cousin. Like, his entire reign was just him fighting with his cousin. And Khutulun would fight alongside him in battle. Yeah. So she would ride out with him. She was an insane fighter. So Marco Polo, I think, may have witnessed this. I'm not sure. Or he heard someone tell him this. But he says, she would make a dash at the host of an enemy and seize some man thereout as deftly as a hawk pounces on a bird and carry him to her father. And she did this many a time.
She straight up did like the old caveman thing of like hitting a woman over the head and like dragging them by the hair.
No, she would just reach down and grab them by the neck and pull them up and carry them back to her dad. So this deep, I know. And Marco Polo, this small Italian merchant, is like, oh,
she's like a Looney Tunes character.
Yes, she was terrifying, and this would really confuse everybody in battle because they'd be like, this giantess is picking me up.
This broad is picking us up by our necks and slinging her over the shoulder and taking us back.
And she'd bring home prisoners of war that way, and she made it through all these different battles, just like doing this, and it was. And you'd think people would have been like, oh, watch out for the giant lady. She'll grab you by the neck and steal you. But instead, were just like, what? I can't compute.
What?
Like, who is this? And
I'm curious real quick. Is this something that you figured out like obviously 800 years ago, people were not giant, like by the standards of those days. Like, how big was she? Was she like, because today I would think it'd be somebody who was like 7 feet tall, but like, do you think she was maybe that big?
Probably
Like she was like 5'10" without heels. Like,
right. With heels. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
No, back then people were way shorter, of course. So I think it was like 5'2", 5'1" or 2 in Europe at that time was
the
like
average?
men's, like a man's size, or 5'3".
Whoa.
Really short. And
so
I would assume that maybe she's like pushing 6 feet.
Okay.
An Italian dude would probably be way shorter than her and just be like completely blown away by who this woman. And so that's how she does things.
Okay.
And the way she learned to do all of this is because having all those brothers, she was like, oh, you guys are all going to train and do awesome things. Screw you. Me too. I'm going to as well. And so she was involved in everything. And her father didn't keep her from any knowledge that was available to boys. And so she probably spoke a lot of languages. She could ride a horse real well. She had a great shot. She was a great shot with archery. And the thing she was the best at was wrestling. So she was undefeated. She never lost a wrestling match.
Nice.
And she wrestled hundreds of dudes. So here's where it gets into like maybe a little bit mythology territory, maybe not, because there are some accounts of it actually being this way. But Marco Polo has said that she refused to marry a man unless he could beat her in wrestling. And she was like, I will not get married, father. I'd rather just go grab people off the battlefield and you ruin their lives. And why would you need, and he's like, well, you're one of my 2 daughters. I really need you to do this. Can you please just get married? And she's
Your
like,
brothers
no.
are idiots. They're all just sitting around complaining. I can't trust them.
Seriously.
You're the good
at this
one.
point, right. And he was very blatant about how she was his favorite. He was like, you're my favorite daughter and child. All 14 of your brothers
Is there
suck.
any competition if you had a giantess daughter who would go on the battlefield and pick people up by their necks and sling them over their shoulder? What other child matters at that point?
No boy, no girl, nothing is as good as that.
Shit, get rid of the other 14. It's just useless. Throw them in the trash.
I'm
14 of them couldn't do that together. You got one.
So
Sorry, I'm yelling.
No. She said it was said that she.
I'm just really upset that I don't have like a 7-foot daughter that can go pick people up by the neck and sling them over the shoulder.
Kill them or take them home.
Every real man would want that as their daughter.
Yes, 100%. Because that's
awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And they were, her and her dad were like BFFs. Like they were 2 peas in a pod. And so these brothers
did not
were like,
have daddy issues.
Not at all.
Opposite.
She probably had mommy issues because no one ever mentions her mom. So I don't know what that was about. So she would also like wrestle her brothers growing up. And because that's what if you even have one brother, you grow up like.
You don't have a choice unless you're the younger brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you think about 14 big, buff men, because the Mongols were it was very much a society of like physical prowess.
Yeah.
And they valued that, highly valued that on like, can you hold your own in a battle? Yeah. Male or female. Here's the thing. Other women also learned to do this, but none of them, there was no accounts of them actually like
being as
regularly riding out. Yeah. So, but like most women knew how to shoot an arrow because they had to hunt. They weren't like the European idea of women where it's like, oh, be quiet and be,
Yeah, submissive and don't say anything and quiet. Yeah.
They like ran the camp and were hardcore. And so she excelled at wrestling and people loved watching her. They were like, let's go watch the princess wrestle. Woo!
Honestly, I get it. Yeah.
I do too. And so they would often bet and gamble on wrestling. Nice. And so they'd have these guys come in and try to win her hand, knowing that they're going to lose. And they're like, oh yeah, what are you going to bet what's the wager? And he's like, 100 horses. And that was always what she wanted. She's like, bet me some horses. And if you win, then you can marry me. And if you lose, I get the horses. Let's just say she ended up with thousands and thousands and thousands of horses. Some estimates were 10,000 horses. What?
You know who she could have married?
Who? Nikolai.
Perfect combination. Her and Nikola. All the
Nikola
horses.
Jokic.
He would have been like, listen, I'm not going to wrestle you physically, but I'm going to wrestle your heart because I respect you too much. And then she would have been
I would never.
That's what I've been waiting for this whole time.
Someone who just wants to hang out with horses.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to wrestle you. I just want to take care of the thousands of horses that you have and raise giant. But we're writing Nikola Jokic
Giant
fan
babies.
fiction now.
With a woman who lived 800 years ago.
What we should do at some point is like a Kuma tab, like who could marry who, and then what their lives would be like. That would be really funny.
Wait.
Kuma kiss.
That's what we're going to do for the live stream in New York. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be matchmakers for everybody.
Kuma kiss.
So the princess just went through these dudes like nothing.
Yeah.
Like just cut straight through them. And they were always just like, wait, for real?
My horses.
My
Yeah.
horses. I didn't think that she'd actually win, and after a while. Oh, and by the way, the wrestling is very different. So in Mongolian wrestling, the whole point is to try to get them just to fall on the ground. So it's not about
That's it?
tackling.
You're not like pinning them and all that stuff?
You're not pinning them. So you grab each other's arms and waist, and then you just try to push each other onto the ground. And if any part of the body touches the ground, no matter how briefly, that contestant has lost. So as long as she could get them onto the ground, which she was extremely good at, then that contestant would lose. And so she just flattened these men. And she kept winning, and people kept watching it. Like a reality TV being like, oh, was she going to get married yet? And after a while...
It's like The Bachelor, but wrestling.
After a while, everyone's like, you should probably get married.
Yeah, they need a new arc for this.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Are you really not going to marry anybody? And she's like, no, I have to wait till someone beats me. And everyone's like, okay. And her dad and mom were like, okay, listen, there's this guy coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's perfect. He's hot. He's strong. He's rich. He's the son of a king. And history's lost his name. We don't know who this guy is because who knows? Some dude.
Loser is what his name sounds like.
He is a loser.
Yeah.
Everyone in the area was like, "Oh, that guy? Yeah, we want him to be. Yeah, that'd be a great match. Like for our princess. Like." And her parents were like, "Listen, can you please just throw the match?
Yeah.
Just this once." And she was like, "Absolutely not."
I haven't.
And her dad was like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do? Like, I need this to happen." Anyway, this guy holds on for a lot longer. So everyone's like, "Oh, maybe he will win," because, But no, she bests him. She gets him onto the ground, and he is deeply humiliated. And he had wagered 1,000 horses, so he went home 1,000 horses poorer.
Damn.
And no one ever heard from him again. No one knows his name. And her dad was like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Like, I love having you, by my side, and we're battling, and you're great, but I want you to, like...
I want to have your own 7-foot-tall daughter that, like, picks up men by their necks and drags them back home.
Them.
I want you to have what I have.
Yes, you. I want you to have a you. Oh, and so at this point, this is where the Persian chronicler comes in.
Oh, right. I forgot all about it.
His name, Rashid al-Din Hamadani, which is, I'm sorry, I'm so grateful to all the Persian chroniclers, dude. That is literally the only reason we know anything from this time period. Every story I've read is just like, oh, and this Persian chronicler who was just hanging out. We're
like the journalists of the day.
But for real, and this guy was also like, he's a jack of all trades. So this guy's a statesman, a historian, and a physician, and an illustrator.
Oh.
Yeah. So
interesting.
He drew the Mongols because he was always... hanging out with them because they ran Persia at that point. And he was the vizier to Ghazan Khan, who was the Mongol ruler of Persia. And so he knew a lot about Mongolia. He knew a lot about their culture. He wrote it all down, which is just like, thank you. And he was the single best source of history for this time in Persia because he was right up there with the king or with the Khan. And he was assisted by a guy named Bolad, a Mongol nobleman who was the emissary of the Great Khan, who had come from Yuan Empire. And he provided him with a lot of background. So these two guys, this Mongolian dude who's just like, there to be like a bridge between the nations, and this Persian dude, Rashid, they just start writing about stuff that's going on in the palace or whatever. And one of the things Rashid writes about is this woman. And this is where it gets solidified as, okay, this was a real woman. It wasn't just Marco Polo, talking about how there's
fixation.
Salamanders that will catch on fire like he did before. This was like a real person. And he wrote that he was like, he was really disapproving of the fact that she didn't get married.
And
that she was like, all she wanted to do was fight. Yeah, can't have it all.
Classic. I'm just saying it's classic Persian dad territory. You're just sort of like, Torshidi, you've gone sour. That's what they always say.
What? That's rude.
Oh yeah, very much so. But that's what they do it.
Sour. Well, yeah, she went sour in his
Yeah.
in his mind.
They're
and
like
he,
28 and she's not married and doesn't have kids.
yeah, it's like,
Done.
what
You're a
is going
spinster.
on?
Yeah.
You're dead. Again, another way that our cultures are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
In that if you are over 24, it's like, sorry,
Yeah.
you're not going to find anyone. What are you, gay?
Just give up. Yeah.
Yeah. And he started writing about, he was like, well, I've heard rumors that there's an incestuous relationship
Oh.
between her and her dad. And
Ew.
he doesn't,
just
well, here's
spreading
the
rumors.
thing. This was really common at the time. He wasn't spreading the rumor. He
I
was
guess
just
that's true, huh?
documenting, like,
Yeah.
here's what I'm hearing.
Oh, the hot goss. I see.
Yeah. And so at the time, this was very common. If a woman didn't get married
Yeah.
and they couldn't figure out a reason why, it's because she was banging her brother or her dad. Because, again, they just had to center it on, like, come on, you don't want a man? Anybody?
I'm like, I guess
Okay.
incest, like to this extent, like really only stopped like how long ago? Like not that long.
That's actually
Like with cousins
not
and
a-
stuff like that. Like it's not that. It's actually
Yeah.
what?
kind of a myth, actually, that
What is-
cousin marriage. Cousin marriage. It
It's
happened,
a myth
but
that
not,
it stopped, or
but
not
no.
as-
But
as
it
much?
didn't happen nearly as much as we think. It
In the
mainly
royal
happened-
families?
Yeah, in the royal families it happened. But
Yeah, that's
the
what I'm saying.
everyday folks would be like, I'm not marrying my cousin.
Right.
What, the kid I
no,
grew
no.
up
But
with?
I'm talking about
Yeah.
like within royal families and stuff. That was very common.
Yes, it was, but not in the not Mongolia.
Okay.
The Mongols were very against cousin marriage, which
Kissing
was
cousins.
kissing cousins. And Rashid also said, like, I heard rumor that she wanted to marry the Khan of Persia right now, the Ghazan Khan, her cousin. They were cousins. And he's like, but he said no, and he married this hot young thing instead. So he was just kind of like writing down
Cousin
gossip.
dangereux. Yeah.
Just like, here's what I heard. And just judging her based on
Yeah.
everything. And she held out. She didn't get married for a long time until all these rumors started getting back to her that she was banging her dad. And she was like, ew, no. Okay, fine, everybody. I'll marry someone. You
Yeah.
happy? And so that was what got her to get married, because she didn't want people thinking that she was in an incestuous relationship. And
Listen, that's the basis of every strong marriage. Is if
it is.
one person's doing it because they're worried about being pegged as being in an incestuous relationship with their father, the king.
We all have that.
Sorry,
We
the
all have
Khan,
it.
not the king. But yeah,
The Khan, yeah.
yeah.
And did I mention she was also really hot? Everyone's like, she's gorgeous. So she's
mean, I
like this
assume so,
supermodel.
but yeah.
Or maybe that was just Marco Polo, because he was like, whoo.
Yeah, it sounds like Marco Polo should have married her.
Marco Polo was
He was into it.
Into her. He would
Yeah.
describe her as beautiful and gigantic. And
He was the like you said, he's the Tormund of
he's
this.
the Tormund, yeah.
Where's the
So-
woman?
She kept not getting married. She finally did get married. We don't really know anything about him, because it seems like the deal she made with her dad was that, okay, I'm going to pick someone to get married to, and that's my choice. We're not
Okay.
doing the whole fanfare. I'm not going to marry some
Wrestling.
king's kid or whatever.
I see.
And so
I want to marry
think-
for love.
kind of, or just like, fine, I'll get married, whatever, anybody. And she does marry a guy. In some sources, she marries some guy who like took care of her horses, like you said, like Nicola. She marries a guy who was much more like
Stable boy.
stable boy, yes, or her bodyguard. There's like talks about it was her bodyguard who had like once tried to kill her dad, and then like they turned him on their side. But that's also kind of like, we
Could be
really don't
hearsay,
know.
Rumor. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then some people just say she never married, but there is documentation of her having 2 children. And when she died young. She died when she was 45. And it was 3 years after her dad died. And when her dad died, that's when her brothers were like, okay, we don't want you around anymore.
Dad's not around anymore to protect you.
Dad's not around. And Dad told us that he wanted you to be the Khan, which, sorry, we don't do that.
Nope. Yeah.
We don't have women as Khans. And she was like, I don't want to be the Khan. I just want to be in the army. Can't I just fight? And so we don't really know what happened to her, but in the records it says that she was killed. So she either died in battle, or one of her brothers offed her, or she had brothers
she
on her
ran away.
side.
and had
Or
like a secret life somewhere.
I mean, hopefully. But, well, and then in some accounts also her children were also killed. And so we don't really know. It sounds to me like 14 brothers. At least one of them's going to be like, we got to get rid of you because dad was mean to us. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of her brothers. But the point is that not very many women, or anybody for that matter, can make it in history for 700 years like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we usually lose a lot over the years. But this lady made such an impression on Marco Polo and Rashid that, like, to this day, she's like revered in Mongolia. Like, that's our
awesome.
girl. She's awesome. And they still do this kind of wrestling. They have like an Olympic game sort of thing with all the three manly things, and one of them is wrestling, and so they still wrestle. And to honor her, and it is honoring her, the thing they wear when they wrestle is an open jacket sort of thing, like an open top, to make sure that everyone knows that they're not a woman who's about to beat them up. So it's like, look, I'm not Khutulun. Khutulun, yeah. Look, I'm a dude. So there's like this weird, like, to this day, like, don't worry, I won't, I'm not
beat
the giantess.
Your ass like this lady did from 800 years ago.
Yeah, and that's the kind of crazy story of Khutulun,
Love
the
it.
warrior princess. Yeah.
I love Khutulun. I love the fan fiction that we're going to write about this and the Kuma kiss that's going to happen.
Kuma kiss.
It's too perfect. It's too perfect. Her and Jokic, they have to be married in our story. In the lore of our podcast, they did get married. Listen, fan fiction story. Nikola Jokic travels back in time.
Wait,
this is
hold
before
on.
he
We
gets
talked
married.
about how he was a time traveler, remember?
That's true. We did.
In that
this
episode
is before,
where he...
I mean, I know he's
yeah.
married and he has a kid now, and we
Okay,
don't want to ruin that marriage. But this is before he meets his wife and gets married. He travels back in time and they get married. And they kiss and they have kids. And he stays at home and takes care of the horses while she runs off and becomes the Khan. And actually, she doesn't want to become the Khan, but she wants to just battle everybody. And it's a secret marriage that no one knows about. It's a secret, And so she keeps wrestling people to get more horses for her torrid love affair with Nikola Jokic, who demands more horses.
He needs more horses.
He needs more horses. But then one of the brothers finds out, and he's like, I'm going to tell Dad. Anyway, I'm just writing this now. I'm just turning this into a Kuma kiss. Thank you for that tab. It was lovely. I love her. She's hilarious. Amazing.
And I wanted to say one more thing. I need to, I was going to start with this, but as with a lot of Marco Polo's reporting or writing, he tends to go off of other people's stories a lot. And so there could be a lot of like people being like, "Oh, wait till you hear about Khutulun." She's So there is. You have to keep in mind that it is 700 years later, and there's probably a lot we just don't know, and a lot that was made up. But all I can say is that there was two people in two different countries who were like, "Whoa, look at her, crazy!"
That is one giant lady.
Giant lady. Anyway, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now we are going to close some tabs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to close all of mine, but I'll close a couple. I think it should be like a wrestling sound of some sort if we can make that happen. Yeah. Like let's pin these tabs to the ground.
Yeah. Oh, or just a bunch of horses.
Or body slam with horses in the background. I don't know. Alyssa, you can get creative.
We're just gonna say for Alyssa's sake, because she's busy this week, just do a body slam.
Body slam those tabs. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
There we go.
All right.
I had a lot open.
Oh, you did, didn't you? You did, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, moving on to listener emails. Number 1 is Sean from Portland. And guess what Sean gave us?
Oh.
Sean gave us.
Oh, yeah.
Here you go. It's a voice memo. I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, nice.
And we are going to listen to it. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1, play.
Hello, Hannah, Kaveh, and Alyssa. My name's Sean. I'm from Portland. The tab I'm talking about today is actually something that was kind of life-changing for me. I grew up with ADHD, but I did not get diagnosed until my mid-30s. So you can imagine there was a lot of negative stuff there. Anyway, when I was in school, I thought everybody hated me, and I internalized all of the teasing and all of the taunting, and I got actual serious trauma from what
Oh.
everybody else considered just normal teasing. And what it turns out is that ADHD can cause this kind of hyper-emotionalism. Your emotional response is way more intense than neurotypical people. And it leads to this thing called rejection sensitivity dysphoria. And what that does is if you have this, every interaction you have with anybody shifts negative. So if you have a really good interaction with somebody, it can shift it into neutral. If you have a neutral interaction with somebody, it can shift it negative. And if you have a negative interaction with somebody, it can feel like earth-shattering. So even if somebody calls you a really stupid name when you're 6, you will take it like they said the worst possible thing to you. And it's this thing that is actually relatively common with ADHD people, but most people don't know about it. And when I heard about it, it like blew my mind. And so, since you talk a lot about having ADHD, I thought that might interest you guys. Love the show. I know I'm in Portland. Sorry I couldn't make it to Rose City Comic-Con. I is the poor, but you guys are awesome and keep up the show.
Oh,
Thanks,
thanks, Sean.
Man.
Have you heard about this before? The rejection sensitivity dysphoria?
No, that's the first I've heard about it.
I
Have
was
you?
told yes it was similarly kind of life-changing that my Josie told me about it at some point because she was like, check this out. Because I always think everybody hates me all the time, every time.
I mean, I do. But I tell you that all the time.
I know you do, but it's comforting because you don't hide it. That's why we're friends, because you openly hate me. But like I'll have like an interaction with somebody and then I just crumble like inside.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, I cannot believe I said those things, that I was that way.
Yeah.
And it just feels like I want to walk into traffic. Be like,
Yeah.
wow, I should just die. And that sounds dramatic, but like sometimes I'll just be like,
Oh yeah.
one thing, I'll say one thing and think they hate me.
Right.
Or if I
Meanwhile,
don't
they
hear
didn't
from
even clock
someone.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't hear from someone or like someone takes a while to text me back, which I do all the time, I don't text people back right away. But I'm like, that's great. They're formulating a plot to
Angry.
hate me forever.
Destroy me. It's true. Are you, as Alyssa always says, are you mad at me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And Sean, I too, I was diagnosed at 29 years old.
That's late.
It's late. Ugh, it's infuriating because you just get there and you're like, oh.
This whole time.
I think I've said this before, but my friend Kelly always said, she's
yeah.
like, oh, it's like I've been playing on hard mode this entire time for no reason.
And nobody else has been. And now I have to.
Yeah, you're like, great. Resilience, I guess. But
Yeah,
I would have rather not had resilience. By the way, Sean wrote in the email one last thing. By the way, ever since you shared the tab about Nixon wanting to be a rapper, I've wanted to propose the closing line, keep it street like Nixon.
I like that. And Sean, I'm glad that you got to learn about the rejection sensitivity dysphoria because it can put your mind at ease. And Sean, we're not mad at you. And that was a positive interaction.
Listen, we're all going to overthink this afterwards. Be like, did we say it in a nice enough way where he doesn't spiral and think about it? We're going to do it on our side as well.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm already like, oh no, everything I said was bad. I can't do this. Oh, I'm going to put this on YouTube and then someone's going to be like, you're not smart or good at this. You can cut that out, Alyssa, or not. Keep it in. Who cares? So
anyway, let's move on to email number 2.
Mine is from Jay Darkwing from the Discord.
Oh, Jay Darkwing.
Yeah. First, dear Kaveh, Hannah, and Alyssa. First, I enjoyed Hannah's tab about Benjamin Rush's bilious pills.
You're the only one.
It was better than the one I did the week after. All right?
Yeah, that's true.
Here's an intro into the humoral theory that Hannah mentioned and how it may have started. The very short version of the likely origin of the theory is that before learning about elements like oxygen, chemistry, like what mercury can bond with, germ theory, microscopes, and the dissection of many, many bodies, people did not know how bodies worked at all. Mm-hmm. Ancient, but you think about it, you're like, that makes sense. No one can see inside their body.
Yeah.
Like, what goes on in there?
I don't know. Demons?
They wouldn't have known. Demons, probably.
Yeah. Trolls?
Trolls.
Goblins?
I think goblins for me, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just making a whole racket in there.
Eels, if you're English, I guess.
That's where they come from.
Yeah.
Ancient Greeks had noticed some kinds of fluids in the body that some people had, quote unquote, too much of when they were sick. They coughed up phlegm, they had fevers with too much blood, making them hot and red. They threw up yellow bile, and sometimes they evacuated black bile. Gross. The Greeks knew that many systems in the natural world needed to be in balance, so they figured that human bodies were the same, and if having excess of something made you sick, it's actually a symptom, not a cause, but they didn't realize that, then getting rid of that excess would logically help. Crucially, they also didn't know about the circulatory system, which wasn't discovered until 1628. Before that, they thought blood was constantly produced and consumed by the body. So bloodletting wouldn't have been a big deal. They'll just make more, right?
Mm-hmm.
They also developed all sorts of ideas to go along with the idea of the humors, which including their effect on people's personalities and dispositions. This was a cool article in case you want to dig into it, and it's all about the ancient origins of today's personality types.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, they all come from humors, turns
Weird.
out. Actually, I've had teaser. I've had multiple tabs open about the history of personality tests. That is coming at some point, and
Oh,
it is
sweet.
fascinating.
Wow.
Anyway, yay science, keep it Josie, and nothing personal, but I'll be avoiding the Lewis and Clark tribute latrine pit. Sincerely, Jay Darkwing. Coward.
Coward. Awesome.
If you want to send something into us, a voice memo or an email, you can do it at 500opentabs@gmail.com. That's 500. And you can also follow us at 500opentabs on Instagram and Blue Sky and YouTube, of course.
Yeah, we already mentioned the Patreon, all that.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. And also at this time, we don't have any shows coming up.
No, not until
it's
if we get into Emerald City,
not
then
until
Emerald
spring,
City.
yeah.
But
I guess. Oh, you know what? I might have something in December, a small one, but I don't know yet. Anyway, there's nothing else to announce as far as this time. We're going to have a guest or two coming up, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And anyway, thanks to everybody who came to New York to come see us.
Thank you.
We had a wonderful time, and basically that's it. So I guess, Hannah, if there's nothing else, thank you, Alyssa. Thank you to everybody listening. Follow the links, and keep it Josie at the Dickie Nixie Sylvia pool party.
Yeah, and despite Jay Darkwing, I'm gonna say keep it bilious at the Lewis and Clark tribute latrine pit. Okay.
Wonderful.
Bye.
We did it. Thanks, guys.
We did it. Good job. And thank you, Kaveh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make you uncomfortable.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.